Holidays are a busy and exciting time for all of us. But when you're trimming the tree or baking goodies or even putting presents out, we have to be mindful of our family pets. While we are transforming our house into a winter wonderland, there are many holiday hazards that could be dangerous and sometimes fatal to our little furballs. Earlier today, I caught up with Maddie Janoda from the Oakville Milton Humane Society, and she informed me just how dangerous this time of year can be for our four-legged loved ones.
It's hard to pinpoint one specific one because there's so many things around this time of year, but definitely the one I think that people don't think of immediately that doesn't come to mind is the food items. It's so easy. We think, oh, I'm going to give, the dog or the cat a little piece of turkey off the plate or a little bit of bread or of bacon. And suddenly you've got, however many people in the house giving that little bit of turkey, that little bit of skin of bacon. And now we have a full-size portion of turkey or whatever it might be that your pet has eaten, and their stomachs aren't designed to handle that. They're not like ours, where we can handle that variety, that richness of foods. They can get quite sick from eating food that they're not accustomed to, and especially the high fatty foods that we tend to see around the holidays. Lots of grease, lots of flavor, lots of oil, that sort of thing really doesn't agree with them. And it's kind of a best case scenario. They might end up with some gastrointestinal upset, some vomiting, some diarrhea. But unfortunately, it's not uncommon when they get into these high fatty foods that they're not accustomed to, is getting something called pancreatitis, which is an inflammation of the pancreas because they're not used to having those types of food, and it can really make them quite ill. It starts out with those same symptoms, maybe the vomiting, the diarrhea, they're not going to want to eat, but if not looked at right away, it can unfortunately become quite a severe medical emergency for them.
And some food that we leave out, like after eights or turtles or chocolates or grapes or anything like that, can almost be can cause death in animals. So we have to be very careful of that.
Absolutely. There's definitely those foods that are incredibly toxic to animals. I think everyone's got a pretty good grasp on the chocolate nowadays. But grapes are something that not everyone thinks about. And unfortunately, we can't say it's, a certain amount of grape is safe for the animal. There is no safe dosing for grapes. As little as one grape can be extremely harmful to even a large dog. So we really want to stay away from the grapes and raisins. Peanut butters, if you're using an artificially sweetened peanut butter, the xylitol, which is the sweetener in that, you see a lot in the sugar-free gums as well, incredibly toxic to cats and dogs. There's, certain types of mushrooms that aren't safe for them to eat as well. So kind of a whole host of foods that can cause a whole variety of issues, unfortunately.
I cringe at this time of year when kids are coming to the door and selling Christmas plants like poinsettia to raise money for their sports club or their team, etc. And poinsettias and other Christmas plants are very poisonous to animals, aren't they?
They absolutely can be. Cats in particular really don't get along with most plants out there. I would say if you're going to be bringing a plant to the house any time of year, definitely look up to make sure it's safe for cats, because they get up into those spaces that you think are safe. You think they're high enough up, and your cat will figure out a way to get up there. The poinsettias are definitely toxic to cats and dogs. Mistletoe is one that not everyone thinks about, can cause some issues as well. Dogs, luckily when they get into things, tends to be more of a GI upset. Cats can have that as well, but unfortunately there are quite a few plants that are very toxic to cats and will require them to be hospitalized if they get into. So I say, if you have cats and you bring any sort of plant into the home, whether it's Christmas or otherwise, make sure you're looking up to see whether it's cat safe. And if it's not, no matter how out of the way you think it might be, it's just best to keep those plants outside, because the cats, they find a way to get up to those spaces where you don't think they can.
So much to think about. As well, people should think about donating or giving money. And now you have a special campaign going right now. Can you tell us about it?
So we have our holiday matching campaign going on. So every amount donated up to $50,000 will be doubled currently. You can go to our website, omhs.ca/holiday22, and it'll take you right to the page to be able to do a donation that will be matched.